How's it going? Hope everyone's having a blessed day. Let's get into it. God is good. All the time, and all the time God is good. I hope everyone's having a very blessed day. And thing I love about the Bible, the Word of God, is despite what people say, it is 100% true. There are no contradictions in it. It is the Word of God. It is the true historical account of what happened. And people can say what they want. That doesn't change the truth just because they don't want to believe it. So, anyway, let's continue on here. Chapter 16 of Genesis. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Abram, Behold now, the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee. I pray thee means to plead with or convince, right? So I pray thee, I plead with you, or, So I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai. So hearken means to listen to. So he listened to his wife. She was telling him to go sleep with my female servant and start a line through her, that we can have a family line through her because I'm not bearing children. So it's absolutely Sarai and Abram both not trusting God's promise at the time because they acted in unfaithfulness. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. Now, to despise is to, hate someone, right? Have a real contempt for someone. And Sarai said unto Abram, My wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Lord judge between me and thee. But Abram said unto Sarai, Behold, thy maid is in thy hand. Do to her as it pleaseth thee. And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. And the angel of the Lord found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way to Shur. Shur is spelled S-H-U-R. It's not S-U-R-E, as in yeah, sure, go do that. So Shur is a place. And he said, Hagar, Sarai's handmaid, whence camest thou? Basically, whence is, where have you come from, right? Whence camest thou? Where have you come from? And whither wilt thou go? Where will you go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai. Now, it's not like God was asking her like he did not know, because he's the creator. So he's outside space and time. He created all of creation. He knows our, before we're going to be born, when we're going to be born. He knows our very thoughts and the intent of our heart, and things we'll say, and even things that we do. Even if no one else sees it, God knows what we do and sees it all. So that's kind of scary thought, actually, Where was I? And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Return to thy mistress, and submit thyself under her hands. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shalt call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction. And he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. And she called the name of the Lord that spoke unto her, Thou God, seest me. For she said, Have I also here looked after him that seeth me? Wherefore the well was called Bir Lahai Roi. Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered. Yeah, so wherefore means why, and also means like for this reason, right? So for this reason, the well was called Bir Lahai Roi, or why it is called, and Hagar bare Abram a son, and Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bare, Ishmael. And Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abram. So 1 is 20 years. So 80 is 80 years, right? So Abram was 86 years old. And when Abram was 90, chapter 17, and when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Lord Almighty. I am the Almighty God. Walk before me and be thou perfect. So I am is one of the names of God that he has revealed to mankind. I am. Jehovah, I am. Elohim, Lord, in all caps, L-O-R-D. When it's Lord in all caps, it's also a name of God. And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. Excuse me. Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made thee. And that's what Abraham means, father of many nations. Father of many nations, or father of a multitude, right? So it's pretty neat how names have a meaning behind them. And I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee in their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee and to thy seed after thee. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. And God said unto Abraham, Thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. This is my covenant which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised, and ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you. So betwixt means between. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generations, he that is born in the house or bought with money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed. He that is born in thy house, and he that is bought with thy money, must needs be circumcised. So basically, must needs be is like has to be, right? So must needs be is needs to be circumcised, right? So with thy money needs so whether it's a slave or servants of his household or of his flesh and blood, anyone's household, any males will have to be circumcised. And my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. And the uncircumcised man-child whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He hath broken my covenant. I love tea. It's so good. And God said unto Abraham, As for Sarai thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be. So Sarah means princess, which is actually it's a beautiful name and it's such a beautiful meaning. And I will bless her, and give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her. So yea and nay, it's English that's not used very much anymore, but it means yes and no, right? So they use that in parliament, in politics, for voting. Like there would be so many that say yay and so many that say nay, right? So all those who say yay are in favor of something. All those who say no or nay are in opposition to it, right? So it's saying yes or no to the vote. So yay and nay means yes and no. Yay means yes, nay means no. And I will bless her and give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her. Then Abraham fell upon his face and laughed, and said in his heart, Shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear? And he said in his heart means Abraham was thinking this, right? He didn't say it out loud, he was thinking this, but God knows our thoughts and heart. And Abraham said unto God, O that Ishmael might live before thee. And God said, Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed. And thou shalt call his name Isaac. Basically, you shall call his name Isaac. And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year. And he left off talking with him, and God went up from Abraham. And Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and all that were bought with his money, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin in the selfsame day as God said unto him. And Abraham was 90 years old and 9 when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. And Ishmael his son was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. In the selfsame day was Abraham circumcised and Ishmael his son. So selfsame, like I was explaining before, previous video, selfsame day means the very same day. Selfsame means very same, right? So the same day, very same day. And all the men of his house born in the house and bought with money of the stranger were circumcised with him. Chapter 18. And the Lord appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door, and bowed himself toward the ground. And he said, My Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, from thy servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree. And I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort ye your hearts. After that ye shall pass on, for therefore are ye come to your servant. And they said, So do as thou hast said. And Abraham hastened unto the tent unto Sarah, and said, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes upon the hearth. Hearth, it would be a fire, right? So an open fire would be the hearth. Have you ever heard the expression a warm hearth means a warm fire? And Abraham ran unto the herd and fetched a cattle tender and good, and gave it unto a young man, and he hasted to dress it. And he took butter and milk and the calf which he had dressed, and set it before them. And he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. Now, he cooked it. Obviously, it was cooked, right? Dressed it means he prepared it, right? He cooked it, prepared it. And he took butter and milk and the calf which he had dressed and set it before them, and he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. And they said unto him, Where is Sarah thy wife? And he said, Behold, in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return unto thee, according to the time of life, and lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son. And Sarah heard it in the tent door which was behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old and well stricken in age, and it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women, meaning that she was past the years of childbearing. She wasn't getting her period anymore. She wasn't able to conceive, right? She was past the point where she wasn't ovulating anymore. She was an old woman, right? Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, After I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord, being old also? So waxed in 1600s English didn't mean waxed with wax. It meant to grow, right? So after I am waxed old, after I have grown old, right, or after I am old, she's saying, shall I have the pleasure of being able to bear children now when I'm past the years, when I'm old and worn out, and her husband also being old, that he's going to have this pleasure now of being a father? And the Lord said unto Abraham, Wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, Shall I of a surety bear a child with which am old? Is anything too hard for the Lord? At the time appointed I will return unto thee, according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. Then Sarah denied, saying, I laughed not, for she was afraid. And he said, Nay, but thou didst laugh. So basically, no, but you did laugh. And the men rose up from thence, and looked toward Sodom, and Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. And the Lord said, Shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do, seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him to do justice and judgment, that the Lord may bring upon Abraham that which he hath spoken of him. And the Lord said, Because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come unto me, and if not, I will know. And the men turned their faces from thence, and went toward Abraham, and Abraham stood yet before the Lord. And Abraham drew near, and said, Wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Peradventure, there may be 50 righteous within the city. Peradventure means perhaps, right? Perhaps, so Abraham's pleading, saying, perhaps, or what if there's 50 people that are righteous, right? So peradventure there be 50 righteous within the city. Wilt thou also destroy and not spare the place for the 50 righteous that are therein? That be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be at the wicked. That be far from thee. That be far from thee. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? And the Lord said, If I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sakes. And Abraham answered and said, Behold now, I have taken upon me to speak unto the Lord, which am but dust and ashes. He's not saying the Lord is dust, but he's saying, I have taken up on myself, or I have spoken to the Lord, though I am but dust and ashes. He's basically saying, I'm speaking to the Creator, to God, and though I am nothing, and God's allowing me to speak to him. It's very humble and respectful attitude and way he's presenting himself to the Lord. Peradventure, there shall lack 5 of the 50 righteous. Wilt thou destroy all of the city for lack of 5? And he said, If I find there 40 and 5, I will not destroy it. And he spake unto him yet again, and said, Peradventure there shall be 40 found there. And he said, I will not do it for 40's sake. And he said unto him, O let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak. Peradventure there shall 30 be found there. And he said, I will not do it if I find 30 there. And he said, Behold, now I have taken upon me to speak unto the Lord. Peradventure there shall be 20 found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 20's sake. And he said, O let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak yet, but this once. Peradventure 10 shall be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 10's sake. And the Lord went his way as soon as he had left communing with Abraham, and Abraham returned unto his place. And there came 2 angels to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom, and Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them. Excuse me. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. And he said, Behold now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, in your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early, and go on your ways. And they said, Nay, but we will abide in the street all night. And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him, and entered into his house. And he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. So basically, just so you understand, in the Bible times, and that in the culture, and I believe in a lot of cultures it's still held this tradition, but basically, the man of the house, right, was responsible for his guests' safety. Right, for when they entered into his house, invited in, he was responsible for their safety, for their lives, for their well-being, for their safety while they were under his care, while they were in his house. He was responsible for them. But before and he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city, before they laid down to sleep, before they were going to sleep, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. So basically, when they compassed, they surrounded the house. Right? Compass means to surround or encircle, go around. And they called unto Lot, and said unto him, Where are the men which came into thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them. Basically, they were, Sodom is where you get the term sodomy from, right? Homosexual anal sex, right? So a lot of the men in Sodom and a lot of the women would practice homosexuality, right? So homosexuality is same sex, so it's either 2 men together or 2 women together, and it's a very absolute, perverse, abominable practice that goes against God's natural design of a man and a woman in the covenant of marriage. So when they say we may know them, bring them out so that we can basically rape them, have sex with them. And Lot went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after him, and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold, now I have 2 daughters which have not known man. Let me, I pray you, bring them unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing, for therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. Now Lot was a coward for that, offering his 2 daughters. He should not have offered anyone, right? But he was, that was a cowardly thing for him to do, to offer his daughters. He should have just locked his door, not tried to offer anyone, but locked his door. That would have been the right thing to do. And they said, stand back. And they said again, now when this says they said, stand back, these are the 2 angels. And they said again, this one fellow came into, oh no, sorry, that was the men saying to Lot to stand back. Sorry, I was mistaken. And they said, stand back. And they said again, this one fellow came in to sojourn, and he will needs be a judge. So will needs be as he presumes to be, or he must be a judge over us. This guy came in to stay with us, to live with us, this foreigner, right? And he's presiding to be a judge over us. So now will we deal worse with thee than with them. And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door. But the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them and shut to the door. Now the men that pulled Lot in, those were the angels that came in the form of men. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness. Now, smote means to strike, right? So either a physical attack, he smote him with the sword, he struck him with the sword, or he smote him with his hand, struck him with his hand. In this case, it's referring to the men were struck with blindness. So the angels blinded the men, caused them to be blind. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. It means they tired themselves out trying to find the door, right? They couldn't see anything. They were blind. And the men said unto Lot, Hast thou here any besides, son-in-law, and thy sons, and thy daughters, and whatsoever thou hast in the city? Bring them out of this place. For we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxing great before the face of the Lord. Basically, the cry of the outcry of the wickedness in this place has reached God, right? For we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxing great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord hath sent us to destroy it. And Lot went out, and spake unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, Up, get you out of this place, for the Lord will destroy this city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife and thy 2 daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city. And while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his 2 daughters, the Lord being merciful unto him, and they brought him forth and set him without the city. Without means outside, right? So, in the context of they went without food would be they didn't have any food. In this context, without means when it's talking about, and he set him without the city, means they set him outside of the city. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, Escape for thy life, look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain, escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. And Lot said unto them, O not so, my Lord. So anytime in the King James Bible, if you're looking to look up certain words like incontinent or out or without, stuff like that, if you look up online, look at, you can't look at the modern translations because English has changed. It's still modern English, but it's a lot of words that were used then, even though they mean that, they have a different meaning as well these days. So if you're going to look up any of these words, thou, thee, whatever, some of the words like the still means the, right? So certain things like mountain means mountain, but certain words, if you don't know what they mean, you can look up in 1600s English, what does this word or that word mean, and it will show you what that word actually means being used at that time. Behold, now thy servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy, which thou hast showed unto me in saving my life. And I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me, and I die. Behold now, this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. O let me escape thither, and my soul shall live. Basically he's saying, is it not a little one? Let me escape there, right? It's a small place, let me escape to there. And he said unto him, See, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also, that I will not overthrow this city, for the which thou hast spoken. Haste thee, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till thou be come thither. Or basically till you arrive there. Therefore the name of the city was called Zoar. The sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven, And he overthrew those cities, and all the plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and that which grew upon the ground. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. So the angel said, do not look back. And Lot's wife disobeyed. So she was punished for her disobedience. And Abraham got up early in the morning. Basically, got up is got up, right? Early in the morning to the place where he stood before the Lord. And he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah and toward all the land of the plain and beheld, and lo. Beheld is basically he saw, right? So he beheld the sight, right? So he was able to see the sight. Basically, he was able to see and saw the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace. And it came to pass when God destroyed the cities of the plain, that God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in the which Lot dwelt. So God sparing Lot and his family was partly because of the plea of Abraham. Because even though Lot did some messed up things, as did Abraham, and as we people do because we're sinners. Lot in the New Testament calls Lot righteous, that his soul was grieved and vexed over the wickedness of Sodom. And Lot went up out of Zoar and dwelt in the mountain, and his 2 daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zoar, and he dwelt in a cave, he and his 2 daughters. And the firstborn said unto the younger, our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night. And the firstborn went in and lay with her father, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. And it came to pass on the morrow that the firstborn said unto the younger, behold, I lay yesternight with my father, basically last night. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and that go thou in and lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night also. And the younger arose and lay with him, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. Thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father, and the firstborn bare a son, and called his name Moab. The same is the father of the Moabites unto this day. And the younger, she also bare a son, and called his name Ben-Ammi. The same is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day. So yeah, that's messed up. That the daughter slept with her father, but people do messed up things. And Abraham journeyed from thence toward the south country and dwelled between Kadesh and Shur, and sojourned in Gerar. So sojourn means he traveled or stayed in Gerar, and sojourned in Gerar, stayed in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarah his wife, she is my sister. And Abimelech king of Gerar sent and took Sarah. So same thing he did in Egypt. She's my sister. But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, behold, thou art but a dead man, for the woman which thou hast taken, for she is a man's wife. But Abimelech had not come near her. Basically, so Abimelech had not had sex with her. When it says he had not come near her, he had not had sex with her. But Abimelech had not come near her, and he said, Lord, wilt thou slay also a righteous nation? Said he not unto me, she is my sister, and she even herself said, he is my brother. In the integrity of my heart and innocency of my hands have I done this. And God said unto him in a dream, yea, I know that thou didst this in the integrity of thy heart, for I also withheld thee from sinning against me. Therefore suffered I thee not to touch her. So suffered and suffered means to allow. And suffered means to allowed, right? So God saying, therefore I did not allow you to touch her. Now therefore restore the man his wife, for he is a prophet, and he shall pray for thee, and thou shalt live, and if thou restore her not, know thou that thou shalt surely die. thou and all that art thine. Therefore Abimelech rose early in the morning and called all his servants and told all these things in their ears, and the men were sore afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham and said unto him, What hast thou done unto us, and what have I offended thee? Basically, what have you done unto us, and what have I done to offend you? How have I wronged you that you've done this to us? That thou hast brought on me and on my kingdom a great sin. Thou hast done deeds unto me that ought not to be done. But Abimelech said unto Abraham, What sawest thou that thou hast done this thing? Basically, what reason did you have for doing this thing, for deceiving? And Abraham said, Because I thought, surely the fear of God is not in this place, and they will slay me for my wife's sake. And yet indeed she is my sister. She is the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother. Basically, so she's his half-sister. And she became my wife. And it came to pass, when God caused me to wander from my father's house, that I said unto her, This is thy kindness which thou shalt show unto me. At every place whither we shall come, say of me, he is my brother. Whither means wherever, right? Or where. At every place where we shall come, say of me, he is my brother. And Abimelech took sheep and oxen and men servants and women servants, and gave them unto Abraham, and restored him Sarah his wife. And Abimelech said, Behold, my land is before thee, dwell where it pleaseth thee. And unto Sarah he said, Behold, I have given thy brother 1,000 pieces of silver. Behold, he is to thee a covering of the eyes, unto all that are with thee, and with all other. Thus she was reproved. So Abraham prayed unto God, and God healed Abimelech, and his wife, and his maid servants, and they bare children. For the Lord had fast closed up all the wombs of the house of Abimelech, because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. God loves you guys. God bless you guys. Have a good day.